Om Sai Ram. Let us understand chapter number 39, the discourse on the essence of the verse of the Gita and the creation of the Samadhi Mandir. Before that, let us do the Namasmaran, followed by chapter number 39, and then we will conclude with the Aarti. श्री सच्चिदानंद सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सतगुरु साई नमो नमः। ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सतगुरु साई नमो नमः। ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सतगुरु साई नमो नमः। ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सतगुरु साई नमो नमः। ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सतगुरु साई नमो नमः। ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सतगुरु साई नमो नमः। ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सतगुरु साई नमो नमः। ओम साई नमो नमः। श्री साई नमो नमः। जय जय साई नमो नमः। सतगुरु साई नमो नमः। श्री सच्चिदानंद सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम साई राम। Chapter number 39, the discourse on the essence of the verse of the Gita and the creation of the Samadhi Mandir. I bow down to Sri Ganesh, I bow down to Sri Saraswati, I bow down to the Guru, I bow down to the family deity, I bow down to Sri Sita Ramachandra, I bow down to Sri Satguru Sainath. Twice blessed is Shirdi and blessed is Dwarkamai, the dwelling place where Shri Sai, the purest one, lived amidst all until he left his mortal coil. Twice blessed are the people of Shirdi, for the sake of whom Sai has come from such a long distance, for whatever be the purpose, and obliged them. Shirdi originally was a small village which became important because of Sai who lived there. It became a holy place because of him and a place of pilgrimage. Blessed are the women of that Shirdi, and blessed is their singular faith. They sang about the unparalleled glories of Sai while bathing, grinding, and chaffing corn. Blessed is their love. They sang excellent songs. Listening to some of the best from amongst them, their minds became calm and was pacified. Therefore, for the benefit of the listeners, during the narration, at the opportune time, to satisfy their curiosity, I shall narrate them so that they are satisfied and contented. Sai appeared first in the dominion of the Nizam, seated under a mango tree near the road, and came unexpectedly to Shirdi with the marriage party from Dhupkeda. From this village, a very holy person by the name of Chand Patil was the first one to find this treasure. The others just had a darshan. It had been mentioned before how he lost his mare and how he met Sai, who made him smoke the chillam and helped him to find his mare. Shant Miraba's wife's nephew, who was married, and it was destined that the bride would be from Shirdi. The marriage party therefore came to the bride's village. The detailed story regarding this has already been narrated earlier. Yes, I was reminded of it because of some incidents, but it is not necessary to repeat it. Chand Patil was the only an instrument. Sai, who had an immense desire to uplift devotees, so he took this avatar and on his own came to Shirdi. Who but Sai would have uplifted the dull witted, stupid, the poor, and the weak, devoid of education or any spiritual practice? These devoted people who were clueless from the age of 18, he was accustomed to a secluded life. At night, he lay down anywhere fearlessly. He felt that God was all pervading. During the day, he roamed everywhere, and at night, he slept at a place where there was a ditch earlier and now the village dung heap. Many years passed thus. The time came for a change in the destiny of the ditch, and a magnificent mansion was erected there. It was of Sai, the compassionate one. The uh, ultimately the same ditch became the sanctum where Sai's body was given eternal rest, and his samadhi was built. That Sai Samatha, patron of the poor, in order that the devotee should swim the difficult ocean of worldly existence, has rightly created the ship of his biography for the benefit of his devotees through his this instrument. As this river of worldly existence is very difficult to cross, and the dependent devotees are blind and lame, for whom he had intense feeling, he is concerned about how they would cross the other bank. Each of us has to cross this ocean of existence, for which the inner self should be purified. The best means is to purify the mind with the worship of God as the foundation. There is no greater devotion than listening to his stories. An attachment to the feet of the Guru is easily created by listening. A pure and clean mind is developed by it, from which spirituality arises. By narrating the innumerable stories of Sai, it will become a big book. Even if I decide to describe them in short, it is impossible to condense them. As the fondness of the listeners increases to hear them, also is my desire to narrate them. Let us mutually fulfill our wishes to attain our welfare. Sai is the only helmsman, and concentrated attention is the boat. Listening to the stories with faith and respect will carry on to the other shore without delay. In the last chapter was the description of the cooking vessel, in short, the strengthening of devotion to Lord Datta and gratifying the desires of devotees with the distribution of Naivedya. At the end of every chapter, a hint has been given about the subject of the next chapter, and such has been the arrangement. Everyone is aware of it. But when I ended the last chapter, I had no idea about the topic of the next chapter. So I said that I would narrate whatever Sai made me recall in the future. As I clearly said, I now narrate what I recall with Sai's grace to the listeners. It is presented with reverence. Therefore, I earnestly request the listeners to push aside all their difficulties and to pay attention with a calm mind. They will be pleased. Once Chandolkar, the great devotee, was sitting in the masjid pressing Baba's feet while he muttered the Gita to himself. He knew by heart the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita and used to repeat it as a habit while he pressed Sai's feet. Now, see what a strange thing happened. Sai Samartha had knowledge of everything, the future, the past, and the present, and he felt like explaining the essence of Gita to Nana. It was the chapter on the yoga of renunciation of action in knowledge, and Nana's indistinct muttering of it, which led to the question. All these end in the knowledge Partha Arjun. When the 33rd verse ended, the next verse started by long prostration. When the 34th verse started, Nana's recitation came to rest as Baba decided to ask a question to impress upon Nana his lesson. He said, Nana, what are you muttering? Speak slowly and clearly whatever you are saying so that I can hear whatever you are mumbling. When he was asked to recite obeying the orders, he recited all the four lines of the verse. Then Baba asked him to explain it with all the details. Then Nana, with great humility and with folded hands, happily in a sweet voice gave his reply, explaining what Lord Shri Krishna had to say. Now, so that everyone should clearly understand the dialogue between Sai and Nana, we shall take the original verse of the Gita, quoting word to word. To understand the correct meaning of this question, as also the saint's mind, this practice should be followed, whereby the meaning becomes clear and free of doubts. At the outset, Sanskrit is a very difficult language. How did it become easy for Sai to know it, to be able to ask such a question in depth? Inconceivable is the knowledge of saints. Why? When did he study Sanskrit? When did he read the Gita? No one knows. Yet he asked the question about a deeper meaning of the Gita as a knowledgeable person for the satisfaction of the listeners, and so that they get the idea of the original verse, I shall give the words of Lord Shri Krishna, which will be of great help for the discussion. Tat vidhi प्राणिपतेन परिप्रश्नेन सेव्य उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानं ज्ञानातितत्त्वदर्शिनः. This is the original verse from the Gita. See the meaning as per the language. There have been innumerable commentaries upon it, which agree as to its meaning. Nana was well versed and had deeply studied the Gita. He started explaining the meaning of the very metric foot of this verse. Nana, in a sweet and melodious voice, modestly and humbly, thinking of the natural order of construction of words, began explaining the meaning with respect. He said, making prostrations at the Guru's feet, giving one's life in the service of the Guru, and questioning the Guru respectfully. Then, those who have attained the real knowledge will give instruction of that knowledge. In the essence, Krishna, the embodiment of mercy, is explaining to Arjuna with love that the service to the Guru and the prostrations to the Guru are necessary to attain real knowledge. Arjuna, if you follow the path, and then those who have real knowledge will show you the way for achievement of the knowledge. Baba, this is the meaning that I know. Anandagiri's commentary on Shankar Bhashya, commentaries of Shankar Anand and Sridhar, as also that of Madhusudan based on Nilakanta. All these are words of advice given by God. Sai Samartha accepted the meaning of the first two metric feet, but listen to what he said about the rest. Other devotees were eager as Shakur bird sat looking at Sai's face, which was like the moon, to savor particles of the nectar with their mouths agape and awestruck. He said, Nana, take into consideration the third metric foot once again. Before the word jnana, there is a sign of suspension. Bring that into meaning. I am saying something which is opposite of it. Am I twisting the true meaning? Are the earlier commentaries untrue? Do not unnecessarily believe it. Whether you say that philosophers and those who have attained real knowledge will give instruction of that knowledge, if you use the word agyan, ignorance, then you will get the real meaning. Gyan is not a subject matter of words. How can it be taught? Therefore, the opposite of the word gyan, and then it can be experienced at every step. I have listened to the meaning that you have given using the word gyan. What do you lose by taking it as agyan? Agyan is a subject that can be discussed. Gyan transcends into words. Just as the coal envelops the embryo or dust covers the mirror or ashes cover the embers, so does ignorance cover knowledge. The Lord had said in the Gita that Gyan veiled by Agyan. Therefore, when Agyan is removed, Gyan shines on its own. Jnana shines with its own luster and is self-effected. It is like pure water covered with moss. The intelligent one who removes this moss will find pure water. Just as the sun and the moon, when they have an eclipse, are ever shining, and it is our vision which has been obstructed and coming in between by the planets Rahu and Ketu. There is no obstacle for the sun and the moon. It is only our perception which is affected. Similarly, Gyan is unobstructed. It is self-evident and in its place. The power of the inner vision of the eyes is Gyan. The veil or the film over it, which increases, is Agyan, and it is necessary to dispel it. That veil or film should be moved with the skill of your hands, and the inner vision should be allowed to manifest, driving away the darkness of ignorance. See, the entire visible universe is nothing but a show created by illusion which is indescribable. This is the same Maya which has neither a beginning nor an end, which has neither an appearance nor can it be realized. It is this Agyan which is manifest. Dhyan is something which has to be realized and not something that can be taught. To make prostrations, to question respectfully, and to serve the Guru are only the means of his grace. That the world is a real great illusion. That is the dark veil over Gyan. This has to be dispelled first. Then only Brahman will manifest, which is the greatest Gyan. The root cause of all worldly existence is Agyan. And when the collyrium of Guru's grace is put in the eyes, then the veil of Maya will be removed. And what remains is real Gyan. Gyan is not to be acquired, it is self evident from the outset. This is an established fact from the Veda Shastras. The real implement to the acquisition of Gyan is Agyan. The feeling of duality between God and the devotee is the most extraordinary Agyan. When the Agyan is dispelled, what remains is absolute Gyan. Only the Agyan of the purest form of rope makes us mistake it for a snake. Agyan can be dispelled by teaching the real form. Then will remain the Gyan of rope. When gold is hidden under dirt, it shines only when impurities are removed. But to make it appear like that, it is necessary to purify it with fire. The root cause of birth of being is Maya. The being moves according to its fate. The whole concept of duality depends upon fate. The ego about the body is due to the Agyan. Therefore, those who are without pride are not affected by pleasure and pain. Those who are detached from the spotting of pride, they have dispelled Agyan. Where there is Agyan of one's own self, that is the birthplace of Maya. When, by the grace of the Guru, Maya is removed, Gyan about the self is realized. Why should one use debilitating practices except for of devotion to the Lord? Even Brahmadev is subjected to Maya, and only devotion frees him. Even if one has to attain Brahmalok, there is no mukti without devotion. If one forgets devotion, there is too one gets back to the cycle of birth and death. Therefore, for Maya to be dispelled, the only means of worship of Lord or devotee of the Lord has no degradation and is not attached to worldly existence. People say that Maya is false, but she is a sorceress entangling event. The knowledge is in its net all the time. But a devotee can make Maya dance to his tunes. Where those who are rich with knowledge are deceived, there the devotees can withstand Maya because they are always surrendered at the feet of the Lord, whereas the knowledgeable are proud of their knowledge. Those who overcome Maya take refuge at the Satguru's feet and wholeheartedly surrender to him. The fear of worldly existence disappears immediately. Let death, which is a certainty, come, but do not forget the Lord. The senses may behave according to their nature, but the mind should always be meditating upon Him. Just as the horse is harnessed to the chariot, so is the body to the senses, but hold firmly the reins of the mind with the hand of your intellect. The mind, which is full of doubts and delusions, runs helter skelter at its own will. It is the intellect on its own which controls it and reigns in it with its own powers. When a capable leader like the intellect is the charioteer, why would the master of the chariot or on one riding in the chariot worry? He should perform all the actions with a calm mind. Once the mind is accustomed to leaving all the functions of the body under control of the intellect, everything happens for one's welfare. If the sense organs begin to enjoy the objects of the senses, it will be a waste of energy, and there is a fear of degradation at every step. Whatever B. The so-called pleasures of the five senses ultimately causes nothing but sorrow and the greatest agyan. Be guilt by sound. The deer ultimately meets his death. The elephant gets caught by its need for the touch and has to bear the prick of the goat. Entranced by the beauty of the light, the moth loses its life by burning its body. The fish, which savors its food and bites the bait, immediately loses its life. The bee, bewitched by the fragrance, becomes a prisoner in the lotus. If involvement of just one sense causes so much harm, how fierce would the battle be where all the five are involved? This is the case of the animals on the land, creatures residing in the water, and the birds. Look at their bad condition. Even the knowledgeable run after the sensory pleasures. What else is it but agyan? If one gets away from the sense pleasure by removal of agyan, then one gets really absorbed in the divine contemplation. One would get involved in the attainment of self realization and one would achieve immense happiness. Let your intellect meditate on the Guru who is God. Let your ears hear his stories. Let your mind concentrate on him. And let your tongue chant his name. Let your feet take you to the abode of the Guru. Let your nose inhale the fragrance of flowers that have been offered to him. Let your hands touch his feet in obeisance. And let your eyes take his darshan. In this manner, while employing all the senses for the Lord with love, the state of those devotees is blissful. What else is devotion to God? In conclusion, remove the agyan from its roots. Know that whatever remains is absolute Gyan. Such is the intent of the verse which was explained by Sri Krishna Rana to Arjun. Nana was, as it is, full of humility. Listening to this sweet clarification, he prostrated at Baba's feet and clasped them with both his hands. Then he earnestly prayed with full faith, remove my agyan, punish my evil pride in an appropriate way. My sattvika is superficial, but questions and doubts still torment me from within. I cannot bear the least of slights, even for a moment. What else is agyan? Inwardly, I have an intense desire to have fame, but outwardly, I show inclination to spirituality. Lust and anger small the within. What else is agyan? Inwardly, I am a doer of all evil actions, but make a show of good or correct conduct outwardly. I am the most ill behaved and fallen of virtue. What else is specifically agyan? Baba, you are the cloud of mercy. Sprinkle on me the water of grace. Extinguish the fire of agyan. I will be blessed that much. I do not need a discourse on Gyan. Remove my unlimited agyan. Keep a merciful eye over me. I will be contented and happy with that. Sai, the embodiment of love and cloud of mercy, making Nana an instrument, had discoursed on the Gita thus: for your and my sake. Gita is the teaching and sayings of the Lord. Therefore, know it to be the true scripture. It is eternal. It should have never been disregarded. But the scriptures are not relevant to him who is deeply attached to the sense pleasures, or to him who is really liberated. There is only meant for those who desire liberation. I, who am fully absorbed in the senses, when will I be liberated? These scriptures are meant only for those desiring liberation and thinking in that manner, so that they are saved. Seeing one's own devotee in such a state, and when a saint feels pity for him, finding some pretext makes known the teaching easily. Look, God or Guru is wholeheartedly concerned about the welfare of the devotee and remains worried about the devotee's well being. He takes upon himself all difficulties. Now, another short narration about Sai's methods on how he accomplished some work without making any fuss about it. The real reason was he never disclosed whether the work was small or big. The work was gradually completed, and there was no mention about it anywhere. When some work arises casually, it should be taken into hand without pondering over its root cause or any indication. On the contrary, there is a creation of confusion. One who only talks what he will do. Clouds that thunder, will they rain? The true significance of this proverb is showed by Sai through experience. Avatars like Baba manifest on this earth for the well being of others. When their desired mission is finished, they merge into that which is not perceptible. We do not know the root cause of our being, where we have come from, and where we will go, why we were created, and what is the reason of our birth. We live a life as per our own will. Then the time comes for death, and all the senses are unable to function. Even then, good thoughts do not come. Even though we watch with our own eyes the wife, son, brother, mother, other loved ones dying, the mind does not have these good thoughts. The saints are not of this nature. They are very well aware and have full knowledge of their end, and they know of the time of their death. Till they are in the body, they are weary their bodies for their devotees with great love, and at the end, the place where the body is abandoned is utilized for the benefit of the devotees. Some have their samadhi built before leaving the body so that their body may be certainly find quietude at that place. This is how Baba acted, but no one realized it earlier. He got a Samadhi Mandir built in his own unique way. There was a very rich man from Nagpur called Bapu Sahib Bhuti. Baba got the effigies raised by him. Bapu Sahib was a great devotee and attached to the feet of Sai. He came often with his family and stayed in Shirdi to serve him. Being devoted at Sai's feet, he stayed there on and off and remaining always obedient to him. He felt like staying always in Shirdi. He felt like buying a small plot of land and constructing a small building to stay there independently. This is how the original seed was sown, from which the tree in the form of a temple stands today. This is a visible monument of Sai Maharaj's love for the benefit of his devotees. How this construction came about, what was the nature of the beginning, and how it took shape. Listen to this whole narration. When Bapu Sahib was sleeping once on the first floor of the Dikshit Vada, he got this idea which, while seeing a wonderful vision, there itself, where Madhavrao was sleeping on one of the beds, he also had the same vision. Both were very surprised. In Bapu Sahib's vision, Baba was commanding him, you should build your own Vada certainly with a mandir in it. No sooner than the vision ended, Bapu Sahib awakened. Sitting on the bed, he began to recall the whole dream. While he was thus occupied, he heard Madhavrao weeping. Bhuti loudly called out to him, wake up! And this made him fully awake. Oh, why are you weeping? When Madhavrao was asked this, he replied, listening to Shri's loving words, I couldn't control my emotions. My throat was choked with great emotion, and my eyes were overflowing with tears. I am unable to control my tremendous love, and thus I ended weeping. Baba came near me and gave me an explicit order. Let there be a vada with the temple. It will fulfill the desires of all. Bapu Sahib was left wondering why both had the same vision. He no longer had any doubts. He decided to act upon it. Booty was rich by birth and had the capability to build a vada with the temple. Madhavrao was just comfortably off, yet they both had the same vision. Their visions agreed. They were brimming with blissful happiness. They drew up a plan, and Kaka Dikshit also approved of it. So be it. The next morning, when all the three were near Baba, Baba minutely observed Shama's face as per his usual habit. Shama said, "Oh Lord, what is this unfathomable sport of yours? You do not even allow us to sleep undisturbed. You make us rave then also." Hearing this, Baba covered both his ears with his hands and said, "I have been here all this time, whatever else one may say. So be it." Then the plan had been earlier drawn up and was placed before Baba for his approval. Baba immediately gave his permission to build the house with the temple. Madhav Rao got ready to supervise the work. The basement and the ground floor got ready. Even the well was ready under his direction. The construction work reached this level. On his way to and from Lendi, when the doors and windows were fixed, Baba watched with interest and eagerness. Baba would say, pointing with his forefinger, "A door should be here, a window there. Here to the east, have a gallery. It will look nice." Later, due to the law of cause and effect, further work was destined to the credit of Bapu Sahib Job. Therefore, it was entrusted to him. As the work was progressing, Booty got an inspiration that in the innermost space of the building he could install an image of Murlidhar, is Lord Krishna. Though he got the idea, but without knowing Baba's mind, Booty never initiated any work without getting Guru's permission. This was his regular habit. Baba's permission was his creed. There was no work which was started otherwise. Why should there be a division in the middle? What is the need of it? Demolishing the walls from both sides, the image of Murlidhar could be installed. Babu Sahib Jog wanted a central hall to be in the temple, but he wanted to ask Baba what he felt about it. If he so desired, it should be done without any doubts. Therefore, he said to Madhav Rao, "You take Baba's opinion, then plan further work as the Lord approves." When Baba was on his usual round and had come near the Vada right at the door, listen to what Shama Rao asked. "Lord, Bapu Sahib says that by demolishing the two walls of the central hall, the image of the Swati Murlidhar could be installed with great love, making a square place or a platform in the center. We would have a throne on which Murlidhar could be kept. It will look beautiful. This is what Bapu Sahib is planning, but needs your consent. In this way, the temple and the house will be completed quickly." Hearing these words of Shama, Baba happily gave his consent. "After the temple is completed, we will come and live there." Gazing at the Vada, Baba spoke very sweetly. "After the Vada is completed, we shall use it for ourselves. We shall together there, there itself, we shall all play and embrace each other lovingly and enjoy a time of plenty happily. So be it." Then Madhavraji asked Shri Sai if this is the definite permission, then whether this is auspicious time to begin the foundation work of the project. "Lord, this is a good time, isn't it? Should I bring a coconut and break?" "Break, break," Baba said. So he bought the coconut and immediately broke it. So be it. Later, the central hall was completed and also the square platform for Murlidhar. The statue was also entrusted to be made by a sculptor. Later, there was a time when Baba became seriously ill and death became imminent. The devotees were greatly anxious. Bapu Sahib was very restless, wondering about the future of the Vada. He did not know what would happen and was therefore disturbed. Henceforth, would Baba's feet touch this temple and concentrate it. Would the lakhs of rupees be spent in vain now that this problem has arisen? When Baba is no more, why should there be a Murlidhar or a house? Why the Vada or a temple? Booty was miserable. Later, because of good fortune, when the end came, due to Sai's orders, the Vada had a great destiny and all were pleased. Place me in the Vada. These words of Baba at the time of passing away, when they were uttered by Baba, brought great relief to all. Thus, the holy remains of Sai's body rested finally in the central hall. The Vada became the Samadhi Mandir. Unfathomable is Sai's life. That Booty is blessed and fortunate, in whose own house the body of Sri Sai rests, and whose very name is most holy. So be it. I hope that listening to this purifying story has made the listeners happy. Hemad is surrendered to Sainath, and may he never be separated from his feet, even for a moment. Whatever happens, good or bad, if only Sai is pleased by my following the righteous path, I will attain my well being undoubtedly. The story, the narrator, and the narration is Sai Samartha himself. Who and what is Hemad here? He is merely a pen name. Further narrations that you will hear will be in accordance with my future inspiration. Whatever happens by and by, why should I be worried about it now? May there be well being. This is the end of the 39th chapter of the Shri Sai Samartha Satcharitra, written by the devotee Hemad Pant, impelled by saints and virtuous people, called the discourse and the essence of the verse of the Gita and the creation of the Samadhi Mandir. This is offered to Sri Satguru Sainath. May there be auspiciousness. Om Sai Ram. Let us now do the Aarti. श्री सच्चिदानंद सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय शिरडी माझे पंढरपूर साई बाबा रमवार बाबा रमवार साई बाबा रमवार शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्र भागा भाव पुंडली गंजागा पुंडलिकन जागा भाव पुंडलिकन जागा याव याव अवघे जन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन साई श्रीवंदन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन धनुबली बाबा साई तव पाव माझे आई पाव माझे आई तव पाव माझे आई करेलो घालवले कचरला तुझी पाहिल रूप तुझे प्रेमेन रंगिले अनंत पूजिम भवेव किल बलील तवेव माता पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु सदा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या दैरङ्गमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव पायेनु माझ्या प्रसन्नेर्मा मुद्याकनावा पतन स्वभाव नरोमि अत्यंत सकलंतरस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि अच्युतं केशवं राम नाम नारायणं कृष्णदामोदरं वासुदेवं हरे ईदवं माधवं गोपिका विल्लवं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्रं हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे श्री गुरुदेव दत्त सच्चिदानंद सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय. Om Sai Ram. I urge all the listeners to read one chapter of the Sai Satcharitra every day and so in Baba bless. Baba bless you. Om Sai Ram.